started. Okay, we're all set. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning. If you can, just put your, oh, thank you. Thank you, Katie. If you could put your sun, moon, and rising in the chat and where you're from. I like looking at them at the end. And, if you want to put any comments, I always look at the comments at the end, or if a question comes up, you can come off mute or put it in the comments, and then maybe just put it in the comments because Kate is here to watch the comments. Okay. Great, but I'll stop periodically to check and see if anyone has a question. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. And do this. Okay. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to present the power of the moon today, where I'm just going to talk about, lots of things maybe people already know about the moon, but like give some additional insights, as well as do some astrology in action so you can see it at work in the real world. But first, let me introduce myself in case anyone is new to me. So I'm Celeste Brooks. I'm an astrologer, coach, and intuitive, and the founder of the Moon Mastery Program. And Moon Mastery is now open for enrollment. I'll talk a little bit about it later, but I put a link in the chat for people. You can just copy it if you want to check it out later, as well as you'll get a link afterwards. But I'm a Taurus sun, Aries moon, and Cancer rising. So I like my Taurus sun. I feel like it gives me a practicality that I'm trying to always provide information that's practical and usable in daily life. My Aries moon, I like to make it fun, as well as try to inspire you to see life in a different ways, or see different things about yourself, to energize you to take action. And my Cancer rising, I really like to have a safe space where people feel comfortable to share. And yeah, that it is, I like to make like a community as well with everything I do. So little personal things. I'm an avid reader. I've had my nose in a book ever since I was a child, like 4. I've got Mars and Venus in Gemini. Yes, I do. And that Taurus Cancer likes to indulge in pleasures. And I am a Yelp elite. I love writing about, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I enjoy writing about my experiences that I enjoy. I have a stellium in the 11th house, which is perfect for coaching and online events and things like that. And I love flat-faced dogs. I have my little dog Debo, for people who knew Sweet Pea. My little pug passed away last year, but Debo is a bulldog puggle mix, the flat-faced dog. He's so cute. My background is I have a bachelor's in biology and my master's, my MBA. And I spent over 25 years in corporate America in sales, marketing, and business development roles for Fortune 500 companies. And I used the moon cycles to help me retire early from that career and transition to be a full-time astrologer. Uranus came and awakened me to things that life could be like outside of what those platinum handcuffs I'd had on for 25 years. Not that, I mean, I had a wonderful career, but I'm happy to leave it behind and, have a different type of life and do what I feel like is my passion. I know it's my passion and feel like it's my purpose. Okay. And so, yeah, I've completed 3 advanced courses, and I just recently became a horary astrologer as well as doing natal charts and other things. So just some notes about where to find me. You can find me on my website, astrologybyceleste.com. I send out like 2 newsletters a month about the new moon and full moon. Also on YouTube, I do videos every month for the new moon and full moon. And sometimes I do these events like this. Sometimes I'll just, post the video. So I recommend subscribing there as well. Moon Mastery will be open for enrollment until February 17th, and class will start on the 24th. And I also do readings, personal readings, events, or coaching programs. I just graduated from horary school, so it's not on my website yet. But if you're struggling with a dilemma or a question, you can email me and I'll get back to you about how we can do a horary reading. I'm on Instagram Live Sundays and Mondays. I talk a lot on Sundays about astrology in action, about things. One of the things I feel like I'm called to do is to help people not just learn astrology, but be able to recognize it in everyday life, and not just your life, but the things that are going on around us in the world. And on Mondays, I do the Astro and the Oracle program, where I pull and make it more general about just the astrology and pull cards for Oracle guidance for Sun, Moon, and Rising. I love this quote: 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And the wise Buddha said this. And it's so perfect for right now. Jupiter rules the truth, and Jupiter is now in Pisces, and we're seeing a lot of secrets revealed and unearthed. We've had, and it's going to keep going, because Venus and Mercury have been dancing with Pluto, and Mars is going to meet Pluto soon, and that unearths things, as well as the South Node is going through Scorpio. So we're going to continue to see a lot of things unearthed in the world around us, and it's a wonderful time to let things come up in our own psyches and to work on healing some trauma. But today we're going to focus on the moon, and we're going to talk first about the moon's domain. Like, what is the benefit? Why spend the time to work with the moon? And I'm going to do an astrology in action example with Whoopi Goldberg. And at the end, I'll do participants' hot takes. So if you want me to do a hot take in your chart, I would ask that people I've already done, let someone else get a chance to get their hot take. Okay. So the moon's domain. So people have been following the moon, using the moon for many different things since ancient times. It's a marker of time. The calendar is based on the moon. The lunar calendar is based on the moon. And it wasn't until the Gregorian calendar, which we use now, which I don't love, went into effect in I don't know what I should have looked up the date for that. But it used to be calendars were based on the moon, because moon is month. There is this rhythmic cycle where we know every 29 and a half days we're going to be having a new moon. It is reliable as clockwork. Yeah. So it's a marker of time. People have used it since ancient times as a navigation through the night sky. So using the moon as well as the fixed stars to navigate. It's used to plant crops and harvest crops. You plant the seeds at the new moon and harvest at the full moon. And also celebration. Even today, you can see celebrations happening more during the full moon than other times of the month. There's just this energy, the emotion is raised. It can be very joyful. It can also be, other things, but yeah, it's a wonderful time to celebrate. And the moon is commonly associated with feminine or yin energy, that inward energy. People have worshipped the moon throughout history, and especially in ancient times. We have in modern times more focused on just focusing on the sun, but The sun and the moon are both luminaries. The sun emits the light and the moon reflects the sun's light back at us and back at the sun. So these are the luminaries. We've seen like Selene from Greco-Roman times. She was the moon, represented the moon, and the moon goddess, and Helios, her brother, represented the sun. And both of them, the mythology was about, they used chariots to pull, she pulled the moon across the night sky. She was associated with childbirth and magic. I love selenite, the stone, that's used for cleansing powers. So you can use it to cleanse other stones. Maybe because I'm a Cancer rising, I connect with it so deeply. I'm reading this book. I've been reading it for months, frankly. I need to finish it. Circe, which is wonderful. And it's Circe was a sorceress, and Selene is one of the characters in the book. It's a reimagining of the myth of Circe. So yeah, Selene is a goddess that you can think about or look into different moon deities. Some of them are male, but the predominance are female, and they represent magic, fertility, protection, and the wilds, that passionate internal energy. There's this feminine mystique about the moon. Artemis, also known as Diana, is another goddess who is associated with the moon, and her brother Apollo with the sun. She's the goddess of the hunt as well. So we can think about with the moon and this subconscious internal yin energy about pulling in what we desire, but there's also this power of the moon about going out on the hunt and achieving what we want to do. Childbirth has been associated with the moon with Diana, as well as wild animals. Isis, the Egyptian deity, and you can see how she has this, she's often depicted with the solar disk and then these horns, and you can see that as well as with Selene, the like the bull or the cow horns, and it's associated with like abundance and this fertility. And she was considered a magical healer and a protector of women and children, and a lot associated with the rights of the dead. Yeah, so I encourage you to just like do some research. You can just Google some of the goddesses, or maybe you want to get in deeper with the myths of them, but connecting in with these, with their essence or their power can help us connect more with the moon, and especially in these times where there's so much focused on the go rather than, and the yang energy rather than the yin. Yeah, so these are just some facts about the moon. It's the fastest moving planet in astrology. And we call the sun and moon planets in astrology, even though they're luminaries. The word planet means wandering star. And so the ancients just gave it, considered it a planet. I already mentioned that the word month comes from a month. The moon moves so fast, she changes signs every 2.5 days. And in relationship, you can think about the sun changes degrees every 1 day. Sorry, I popped ahead. She moves 13 degrees in the sky every day. The sun moves 1. Saturn, you can think of, it moves only like a tiny bit. It takes weeks for Saturn to change a degree. So the moon moves so much faster than the other planets. And yeah, she changes signs every 2.5 days. She changes her phase, and the phases of the moon relate to the relationship between the sun and the moon. That's every 3.5 days. She changes phases. And she's one of the big three in the horoscopic astrology. We look at the sun, moon, and rising as the big three of personality. The moon is very key in electional astrology because she moves so fast through the sky. And electional astrology is about like picking auspicious dates to do things, whether it's get married or start a business or launch a program or have a webinar, things like that. Yeah. And horary astrology is about asking a question and looking, and the moon can tell you about what happened recently and what is likely to happen next. So you can ask questions about like, will I get this job, or will we get married, or all sorts of things. But don't ask any horary questions you don't want an answer to, because yeah, the chart can reveal some things. You cast a chart for the moment. Yeah, so the moon is just key. And because she moves so quickly, she can be like a messenger of things that have happened and things that are to come. And we can really sink in with this energy and get feelings of all of the signs because of her quick movement, as opposed to some of the slower outer planets. And she's a mirror. She has no light. She reflects the sun's light back. So back to us, back to the sun. She rules a subconscious inner nature, our emotions and our feelings, but also our instincts and our intuitive sense, and our needs and our habits. So it's very internal, very subconscious. She rules the night, what we don't see necessarily from, from our eyes or our conscious mind, but what lies beneath in the psyche. She also rules our sense of belonging or lack thereof. Also magnetism. The moon has a lot to do about like how you can magnetize people to you, as well as your nature of being receptive or receptivity, how people, respond to you. Also about bonding is very key in bonding with people. The moon also represents the mother in the chart and speaks a lot about the relationship with our own mothers and how we parent ourselves if we're women. But, the same goes, for men as well, how they express the nature of that moon energy. So are there any questions, Kate? I'll take a breath. If not, I'll keep going.
Nope, you're good to go.
Okay. So there are many different ways to work with the moon. One of the simplest ways is to work with the transiting moon. So as I mentioned, the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So every month it goes through every sign of the zodiac, giving you a chance to connect in with these different archetypal energies. So I do moon memos and I post them on Instagram and TikTok at Astrology by Celeste. So giving just some guidance about what is going on with the moon in relation to the rest of the astrology, just a little things to think about when the moon is in each particular sign. Today is the moon in Aries. It's the first sign of the zodiac. There's this yang outward push. It's a fire sign. It's a time to like feel enthused, feel like some joy about life. Take action. I really recommend when the moon is in Aries to using your energy positively, like getting some exercise, having a laugh, having some fun, rather than there's a caution about like being impulsive. The moon in Aries is ruled by Mars, which is this primal urge to get what we want. It's also a caution when the moon is in Aries to maybe watch what you say, because you may say some things that cut people. Mars cuts. So things like that you can think about when the moon is in each sign. And I have a guide. You can find it on my if you go to my Instagram page, that snip feed link, or on my YouTube page, the snip feed link, that it's talks about the transiting moon from through each of the signs, or you can take Moon Mastery and learn about it there. But in either case, I suggest keeping a moon journal. Maybe it'll take a little while. Like it took me a couple of months, probably 3 months or so, before I really started really feeling and tapping into the energy and being able to feel when the moon switched sometimes. So you can write about like just a few words. How did I feel today? What did I do? Who did I encounter? And just observe the people around you. How are they acting? You will see people act differently based on the moon sign. Like when the moon is in Leo, you will see more people wearing red, like out, like being a little bit dramatic. We're having more flair. You see more of the hands moving and more expressive energy, because Leo is a sign of, it's ruled by the sun, and it's like people are like shining their energy outward. You'll see people be more social and talkative when the moon is in air signs. When it's in earth signs, especially, I love Virgo moons for just getting mundane tasks done. Capricorn moons are great for planning as well. The water moons, you'll see people maybe more quiet or more internal and things like that. So connecting with the transiting moon alone, just knowing where it is, going through the signs, and if you know your chart, knowing which house it is in your chart gives an additional depth. You may start to notice patterns of when you are most productive, when you are more emotional, when you feel like more social, when you give better presentations or, express yourself better, things like that. So, you can improve your productivity, reducing stress. Like I know when the moon is in Pisces, I need to take a step back. I get a little spacey. It's a time for me to go within, no matter what part of the cycle it's at. If I can be creative and like really, yeah, just schedule more. I keep my schedule lighter or have more downtime when the moon is in Pisces. Now, we can't always do this, but we can be aware of what's going on. And really, when you reduce your stress, when you like know what's coming up, when you engage with yourself, it can really increase your happiness. It explains so much about how some days I would just like be so productive. Some days I'd not get anything done. And yeah, or like feel my mood shifts and things like that. It helps so much to work with the transiting moon. And then working with the moon phases, you can start as simply as you want to, with just knowing at a new moon, it's a time to set intentions. And then we work on them as the light waxes to the full moon. And then we celebrate our progress. We release what doesn't serve us. We celebrate any wins whatsoever. And then as the moon's light wanes, we share what we've done. We have lessons learned, and then we release and start a new cycle again. There are these month cycles where we have this new moon every 29 and a half days. And then we have these larger cycles where the moon activates a point in your chart every 9 months for a total 27 and a half month cycle. Yes. So, okay. So there's a question about, the moon journal. And that's how you can use the moon journal. Yes. Knowing which sign the moon is in, noting how you're feeling, and, even more complex, knowing about, is the moon waxing? Is the moon waning? And I get a lot more into this in Moon Mastery about how you can use this to really, optimize your life. Okay. And manifest for yourself. So working with the moon, the moon phases, the sun is the conscious mind, represents the conscious mind, and the moon is the subconscious. So at the new moon, they come together, whispering secrets to each other. So one of the most powerful things the working with the moon phases does is it makes the unconscious conscious. So whether you're working with them or not, things are being seeded in your psyche and you start doing things to bring them forward. And then at times you start releasing things, and these things are happening whether you're being conscious or not. But when you're working with them intentionally, it really helps you make the conscious conscious, because at the first quarter moon is when we start making decisions and things start popping out into our lives. Working with these cycles can help you manifest your goals at a faster pace through using intention setting and coming back and working with the intentions throughout the month and throughout these longer 27 plus month cycles. You can really learn about your decision making when things keep coming up to your mind and you look at what moon phase it's in. It can tell you, like, this is something my soul is asking for. And then you can really look at things a different way and have more clarity about the decisions you're like being pushed to make from your inner voice. And it really helps you from pivoting from seeking outside guidance to trusting your inner wisdom when you connect into this. And you can connect into your deeper voice, your own voice on a deeper level. Yeah, as I mentioned, I use the moon phases, those larger cycles, to set different intentions. Like every month I set two like short-term intentions and one longer-term intention. And when I was working to grow my business, like every month there was a different aspect about growing the business where I was setting an intention, like pushing a different area based on what sign the new moon was in and what house of my chart. And yeah, it really helped me stay on task to move things forward. Yes. And then you can start seeing about how where things are popping out and these cycles like interlap with each other. It's really just, the universe is amazing. It's just incredible. Now, also you can work with your natal moon sign, your natal moon placement in your chart is so important about knowing how you need to take care of yourself. The moon rules, your emotions, your needs, your subconscious behaviors. So having insight into that moon, your natal moon, as well as what it's talking to in your chart is really helpful. And what house it's in is really helpful in understanding your reactions. The moon rules reactivity, and you can really help ground yourself and stabilize yourself, especially if your emotions kind of go up and down. Yeah. It can give us insight into our talents, what the moon is doing in our chart, as well as these blind spots. It can help you articulate your needs to your loved ones in a more clear and concise way, as well as help you understand the people around you. Like if you know the moon sign between your moon sign, and your sun, moon, and rising, your partner's sun, moon, and rising, it can really help you with your communication with each other. Yeah, it can help you with, if you have children, help you know how to nurture your children and understand them better. This awareness can help you change some self-sabotaging behavior. Those are active natures that sometimes get us into trouble. And I still get in trouble sometimes. I mean, I have an Aries moon, and I got into a little something with someone on Friday. Nothing big, but yeah. It still happens. And then, like, afterwards, I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot the moon moved into Aries. And I should have taken a step back and took a breath before I responded to someone saying something nasty to me, but that's okay. I didn't. It's fine. Yeah. And like, if you are born at night, there's this traditional method it talks about sect. So if you're born during the day versus during the night, if you're born during the night, a lot of times people are more in touch with their moon signs. They feel more like their moon than their sun. And the moon may be more impactful to them if they're born at night, because the sun rules the day, the moon rules the night. Now, Oh, and there's also, I should say this while we're still on this slide, in addition to your natal moon, knowing what phase of the moon you were born in, the relationship between the sun and the moon in your chart is very important. A new moon in Leo, if you were born during a new moon in Leo versus a full moon in Leo versus a balsamic or last quarter moon in Leo, there can be a lot of differences around how you move through the world. And it can give you some more insight about yourself. As well as we have something called the progress moon, which we'll talk about as well in Moon Mastery, that speaks about what emotionally is coming up for yourself now. And the house it's in speaks to the area of your life that is going to be in focus. And knowing, watching when it's going to switch, and you can really help you be aware of what's going on in your life. And I think in the progress moon phase as well is really key, especially when people are in the progress, like around that last quarter progress moon phase. The progress moon has a new moon every 29 years. So these are really big life cycles. And at that last phase, that last quarter phase, people can start feeling, I hear from my clients, they can start feeling a sense of futility sometimes, like, what am I doing with my life? I'm feeling like just a little bit of a lost feeling, and knowing that you're at this phase can be so empowering to help you navigate through it and get some grounding. Also with predictive astrology. So one of the first things I look at with people when we're talking about what's coming up for them is the eclipses, where they are in their charts, what sign and where they are in their charts. And eclipses are new moons and full moons times 10, and they're intensified being near the nodes, the lunar nodes, which are karmic points. So eclipses, especially when they're activating your sun, moon, rising, or one of your angles in your chart, the ascendant, the midheaven, the IC, or the descendant, can speak to the self, who you are out in the world, your relationships, and your most private self internally, or your family foundations. These are things when things pop out into our lives. Yeah. As well as any of the planets, but especially sun, moon, and rising. So also the progress moon, which I mentioned, which speaks about emotionally where we are. And there's something else called solar arcs. It's a more advanced technique, like looking where the moon is in these two charts, which speaks about where we are in life. Solar arcs speak about what's like really popping in externally, that we can see. Knowing this can really be helpful to know what's coming up for you. And understanding the life cycles, like I was talking about with the progress moon phase. When you're in that new moon phase, there's something being new planted, and you may not know exactly which way you're going, but there's something being planted, and it'll become more clear by the crescent moon phase, and you'll really take action by the first quarter phase. And these are like 3.5-year cycles. So these are these longer cycles. And the moon can be used for fertility, knowing like the rhythm method is a lot to do with the moon cycles. I'm not recommending that, but like if you're trying to get pregnant or trying not to get pregnant, you can really there's a technique where you can pull every month when you come back, when the sun and moon make the same relationship they did as when you were born. So if you were born at a new moon, full moon, whatever, when it comes back to that, that can be a time when you are more fertile, a couple days before and after. And you can look at these you can pull charts for every month where your lunar phase return and see like when potentially you may be more fertile or more likely to have a successful pregnancy. So especially people who are doing in vitro, this can be something that could help them. Okay, so we're going to get into astrology in action, but I want to stop and answer any questions first. And I see here. Okay, the new moon was in Aquarius last Monday. can we still tap into this new cycle energy? Yes, you can still set intentions for the Aquarius new moon up until the first quarter moon. You can set intentions. Like some people set their intentions like a minute after the moon is anew, but others recommend, and I like for the light to grow a little bit, so there's just a little bit more clarity. So I usually wait a little bit. It depends on the chart, but I sometimes wait a little bit in order to write down my intentions. But up until that first quarter moon, there's still time for new moon intentions. So yes, I would still recommend. And I'll set intentions and I'll add stuff to them up until the first quarter moon. So yeah, I recommend you can still tap into that new energy, that new cycle energy that is, and Aquarius is about our hopes and dreams. So definitely don't miss out on really thinking about that, getting it down on paper. And you can, with Aquarius, I like to dream big. Jupiter's in Pisces. Abundance is coming to all of us likely somewhere in our charts, in some aspect in our lives. Does the moon have anything to do with your subconscious thought process? Yes. Yeah, the subconscious feelings and thoughts are intertwined. Yes. Yeah, and I was listening to a podcast that was talking about how Vedic astrologers talk a lot, and that's Indian astrology, talk a lot about the moon and the thought processes, not just like emotions. Great. Any more questions, Kate?
Nope, just those three that I had already sent over to you. I know there was a journal about question about a moon journal.
Yeah, I answered the moon journal question. And if you want, the journal I recommend is the honeycomb. It's amazing. And it's not very expensive. It's a journal that has all your personal transits. So you tell them your birth time, place, and date. And the journal outlines all of your personal transits, as well as it has all of the moon phases. It tells you all of the moon phases in there. So I use that sometimes as like a moon journal as well. But there are all sorts of moon journals, and you can get that at honeycomb.co. And check that out. Okay. Okay, let's talk about Whoopi Goldberg. So this is a great example, and I'm going to focus in on just the moon, but there's a lot more going on here with this situation. So Whoopi Goldberg on Monday, she said some comments about how the Holocaust was not related to race on her program, The View. And it upset a lot of people because, any kind of diminishment of this horrific event is, causes a commotion. Yeah. Now, that evening, she apologized for it, but the next day she was put on suspension for 2 weeks by her boss for what she said. And so Whoopi Goldberg is a sun in Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, and Aquarius rising. So this moon is almost coming back to the sun. So one thing to know about the planets is they move around the chart this way. So she is at almost to a new moon. She was born, and that's the balsamic phase. That's like a releasing phase. So the sign of Scorpio, people with a lot of Scorpio energy, there's this desire, there's this subconscious need, as well as, she's got sun and moon, so conscious and subconscious need within her to explore topics that may be considered taboo. Yeah, to look beneath the surface of things, to try to mine for the gold, mine for the philosophical wealth beneath the surface, and maybe some places that people find uncomfortable. She's been a boundary pusher for a long time. And this balsamic phase, there's also like this nature of like this life is about resolving some kind of karma and things like that. So Stephen Forrest calls the balsamic moon the mystic and the anthropologist are two of the archetypes of people born under a balsamic moon. And you can think about, like with Whoopi being the anthropologist, since she started her career, she talked a lot about things, observations around society, things that made people uncomfortable about race and other things. People who have this can have a psychic sensitivity. And I think it's so interesting. She was the medium in that movie Ghost with this balsamic moon in Scorpio. It's just like perfect for that, because Scorpio can like have this it's like a truth detector, a lie detector. They see beneath the surface. So it's perfect for a medium. Yeah, and it's a deep, intense water energy. Yeah. It can give these people like a magical, inspirational, and resilient nature. I was born under the balsamic moon in Aries. So yeah. Yeah, there's always this caution of like self-sabotage with this. Yeah, what's so interesting about what she did in relationship to the moon? So this happened on Monday when she made the statement. So this is a Whoopi in the center, and this is the first quarter moon phase chart on the outside. Okay. So the first thing to know about when she said what she said, it was an Aquarius moon, but it was a balsamic moon. And when the moon comes back to the phase it was when we were born, it can give us a feeling of more comfort. We can feel more comfortable. And this was in her 12th house. And the 12th house, one of the things it's known of is being the house of self-undoing. So the transiting moon was moving through her 12th house of self-undoing when she said what she said. And then that evening or early morning on the East Coast, there was this first quarter moon and you can see it's at the first quarter moon was at 12 degrees Aquarius. And Whoopi has her natal moon at 12 degrees of Scorpio in the 9th house. So from the house of self-undoing to the 9th house. And squares are activating. Squares, yeah. And this is when she got the punishment, put in the time out, kind of, for what she said. And what's so interesting is that the ascendant was on her moon, her natal moon as well. Yeah. And so there was something else I wanted to say about that. Yeah, you can see Uranus in the sky just briefly. Uranus can bring shocks and awe, and it's like opposing her moon and squaring this new moon. So it really speaks to the timing of what she did. And another thing you'll learn in Moon Mastery is about the moons. When we have new moons, there'll be a new moon in a different sign every month, and they're about the same degree. So if something is activating, like if you have something, and right now they're at 12, and so since I believe it was October and November, the new moons have been at 12 degrees. So it's working on your chart in different areas of your life, but aspecting that planet that has anything around 12 degrees, that planet or point. So you're going to be seeing these activations going on. So this is going to be an unfolding story for Whoopi about what happened. Yeah, and it's about, she said something shocking that is not, the collective does not, there's this need of Aquarius can rule, like saying things that are kind of considered shocking as well, because it's ruled by Uranus. So it's really interesting what's going on with her. And we could also look at her progressed moon. So she's in the crescent moon and Aries phase. So there's like this new energy coming into her life, potentially about a new start. Right now it's at 3 degrees of Aries in her first house of self. As I talked about early, an Aries moon. This is what she's emotionally, she's feeling a little fierier, a little more impulsive. She's thinking about, things about herself, and her vitality may be up, be something she's dealing with. But having that progressed moon and the crescent phase, like this waxing phase, can speak about like being a little bit more impulsive. And she's gotten into trouble for years and years. You can watch I talked about a little bit about it this morning in my YouTube, not my Instagram live. Some other thoughts about other things in her chart, but I want to just kind of stick with the moon. The interesting thing about this progressed moon, it's at 3 degrees of Aries, and the progressed moon moves 1 degree a month. So in like 4 months, it's going to be in her second house of resources and values. So how she makes money, there could be a change in how she makes her money, whether she'll decide to quit her job or she'll be let go from the show, or we'll see. But it may not happen for a while. But so you can see her Chiron, the wounded healer, is right here in her second house too. Maybe it won't happen for 6 months when the moon meets her Chiron. We will see. But the next eclipse is at 10 degrees of Taurus. So it will be right in her second house of how she makes money, resources, values. This could indicate that she will be leaving the show and making money a different way. Another thing I think that's really important to talk about is that Saturn is is right about to go in her first house, which also suggests some separateness, some feeling isolated or things like that. So we'll see what happens with Whoopi with this. Let me see, was there anything else I wanted to say about her in relationship to where she is with the moon? No, just how the story is told by her natal moon, her progressed moon phase, the transiting moon, the moon phase that's happening right now. And we can see some things that potentially could be unfolding around her, for her coming up. Okay. Yes, in astro.com, Ashley, you can cast a chart, and it's called transits, I think. You can cast a chart for your chart with the transits around it, as well as you can cast a chart with your chart and the progressions, or your chart, the transits and the progressions. So yes, you can do all that in astro.com. I recommend investing in an app like Astro Gold. I really like Astro Gold. I know some people like Time Passages a lot. It's only like Astro Gold is like $40, and it's just, I think it's so much easier to read. And I have a lot of trouble with astro.com. So yeah, but you can do all that stuff in astro.com. That is free. So, but you might want to think about and you can have it on your phone like Astro Gold. So you can, while you're out, if you want to do someone's chart, you can easily pull it up right on your phone. I know they have it for iPhones, and I think they have it for Windows, but those are two, Astro Gold and Time Passages. I use Solar Fire, but this is more expensive. This is more for like if you're a serious astro enthusiast or a professional astrologer, because it's like $300 and some, but it's very powerful. Yes. Any other questions about this chart or anything I've presented so far?
So far, that was the only question.
Great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about moon mastery, and then I'm going to do participants' hot takes. So if you want a hot take reading, you can put your birth information in. I ask that, you know, we let people who haven't had one for me before go first. And Kate will help me manage that process of doing people's charts. Okay, so I'm so excited that Moon Mastery is coming back. I had meant to launch it again, run it again last fall, but yeah, life just got in the way and I had to delay it, but it's back. So, and I've added some stuff and revamped it. So it's a tool for self-discovery and manifesting with more ease by really learning about these different parts of the moon. And the moon is a great place to start with astrology. And even if you like know your chart, know astrology, a lot of classes don't really talk much. They just kind of gloss over the moon. So you can learn, this class is great either if you're a beginner or you know a lot about astrology and you just want to learn and deepen your relationship with the moon. Yeah. So it's 6 classes. They'll be taught live on Zoom on Thursday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 8 p.m. on the East Coast. The classes are yours forever. We'll be able to download them so that you can keep them forever. And there is a class portal where there can be interaction there too. You'll learn some of the basics of astrology and develop a more intimate connection with your big 3. We're going to talk about like the hidden talents and blind spots and an introduction to some cosmic compatibility about knowing how you relate to other people based on your moon sign. There's a VIP community for sharing comments, asking questions. I really like to build community, and this is going to be interactive. And experience astrology in action, like see what is going on with people in the class. I don't know, at some point I may, you know, look at somebody, you know, who is prominent so that we can all see, because I think that's the best way to learn. It's really makes it really practical and impactful when you can see things out in life. And yeah, you'll receive a simple framework for intention setting and moving your goals forward, as well as you'll have the tools to create a personal action plan for the next 6 months. And like I've been saying, you know, February 4th, when Mercury went direct, to April 29th is really the big go time this year, when all the planets are direct and there's this forward push energy. And this class is time. So we are ending around the new moon in Aries. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So the new moon in Aries starts the zodiac year. So it's a great time to really get going with things. So you can be like accelerating and then like really execute once we start getting into that April time frame for anything big you want to move forward. So why take the class? Like really understanding your cosmic blueprint can, you know, really help you illuminate your shadows, which is a perfect thing to do with the South Node in Scorpio. We're meant to illuminate those dark spaces, bring them up for review and learn how to heal them or accept them or deal with them. It's going to be fun and insightful. And as I said, learning to trust your wisdom more. And yeah, reducing stress. Working with the cycles, understanding what's going on with yourself can so help you reduce stress, balance your mood, increase your joy, achieve your goals, and building better relationships with others, understanding people more. Astrology is a language of self-compassion where you can really understand others better. And the course promise. Yeah, so Vic, if you feel like you don't resonate with your moon, come take this course. It will really help you. It took a lot of work for me to resonate with my, I mean, I knew about my Aries moon, But yeah, working with it more intentionally, understanding the phase I was born in, understanding all of these things, like connecting into the transiting moon really helped me connect into it more and make it more conscious. Yeah, that Aries moon has popped out throughout my life, but I wasn't able to really see it, how it was reacted clearly till I started getting involved in it. Oh, Victoria. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So my course promise is by the end of the course, you will have new perspective to make more conscious decisions, improve personal relationships, and achieve your goals in life. This personalized frame, you will receive a personalized framework that will help you guide you for your next 6 months to continue to advance your journey. Yeah. So you're also going to get a set of gorgeous moon phase and zodiac altar cards. You're going to get the digital images so you can print them out. So this can help you connect with the moon as well. I have a little moon altar where I have them out so I can always see at a glance where the moon is, what phase it is, and that has helped me really connect as well. And I'll be sending the moon memos that I do on Instagram to your inbox. And you'll get a chance to have 20% off a reading or coaching program of your choice. If you sign up by Valentine's Day, I have a new course called Meet the Zodiac Signs, which is going to drop on February 17th, which is what I'm going to go through all the zodiac signs and give you information on like what about the sign, what traits that you should try to enhance with that sign or cultivate, and what can be like some shadows of the sign or things you might want to consider taming, as well as give insight into famous people who have sun, moon, and rising in those signs to help connect into the energies as well. That's a self-paced course. It's on half price for $40 right now until Valentine's Day, but it'll be all available on February 17th. So if you're not as familiar with astrology, you can add this on, because I'm not going to do a lot of teaching about the signs. I really want to focus in on the moon and all these. I mean, there's so much with all of these other aspects of the moon. So Moon Mastery is an $860 value, but you get it for a one-time payment of $440 or 2 payments of $260. And spaces can be limited, so make sure if you're really interested in taking the course, sign up soon. Now, today, you can sign up today. Okay, so these are some of the resources. Intention Setting with the Moon phase ebook that you can get from my website. You can easily download it. And the Book of the Moon, if you really want to nerd out about the moon, this book by Stephen Forrest gets like really into the nitty gritty. It's a lot about personality and about what moon phase you're born at, what moon phase you are now. And I love Jan Spiller's book about new moon astrology. You can just help you, give you food for thought. It's really very detailed about things to think about for each new moon. Yeah, so that's the presentation. Oops, I meant to delete that page. Okay. But now I want to answer any other questions. Answer any other questions about what I presented or Moon Mastery, and then I want to do hot takes. Yes, Manasa, the course is $440. Thank you, Kate, for putting the link in the bio. Any other questions, or we can start doing?
Mary has her hand up.
Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Oh, good to see you.
Hi. Good to see you too. My goodness, it's been so long. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I'm trying to learn astrology, and I feel like there's so much information. Like, I dabbled with it when I was a teenager, and in my 20s, I worked as a psychic at a shop. I really dove into it. And then I strayed so far from it going through college. You know, I just couldn't keep up with 2 things at once. So I feel like I'm a beginner again. When I was in high school learning about astrology, of course, I was a teenager, typical teenager. I was into boys. So I was only learning about the masculine astrology signs to understand boys.
Yes. Well, this is why, connecting into this feminine energy can be really helpful. So this class is perfect for beginners, and trying to keep it as simple as possible so that we can go step by step. And yes, and I would recommend maybe getting the Zodiac course.
Okay.
When you go through the purchase, if you decide to, you have an option to buy that Zodiac course for $40. So you can refresh your memory with the signs and all their meanings and their archetypes as well.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good.
Great. Well, thanks, Mary. So nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yes. Okay. So Victoria, if you're not ready now, I'll be offering it again in the fall. Yes. So yes. Yeah. Is that any other questions, or we can get into the hot takes?
One more question in the chat. Victoria was asking how often you'll be offering Moon Mastery course.
Yeah, I plan to offer it at least twice a year. So in the fall again, I think is when I'll offer it.
And I think that's all on our questions, unless anybody else wants to throw any in.
Great. Well, if you want a hot take and you haven't had one before, put your information in the chat. And Kate can let me know who's first.
Up first, we have Karen Q. And then I will tell you all her details after you've got your chart up.
Okay. So.
Alrighty, this is Karen Q.
What is
date of birth?
Yeah.
April 28th, 1990. Birth time is 7:34 a.m. And birthplace is El Centro, California.
Okay. So here is Karen. Hold on one second. Let me add. Okay, Karen, can you come off mute?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, and you?
I'm good. Yeah. Is there anything particular you're is in focus in your life right now, or just
just that, like, is there gonna be like an impact or something that I need to know about the North Node, like in Taurus or something? Like, is it gonna have an impact in my birth chart?
Yes. Okay. So what's happening for you? So you're a Gemini moon in the first house. You're a sun in Taurus, moon in Gemini, and a Gemini rising. Are you very intuitive?
A little, but sometimes like I don't trust it, but it's actually right. But like I need to learn how to like trust more my intuition. But yeah.
Yeah, you've got your sun and Mercury in the 12th house. And the 12th house is a house of mysticism. So a lot of times when people have this, that can bring an intuitive nature, as well as you have your sun in a trine, which is an easy flowing aspect to Uranus. So you may get just like sudden downloads of information, or just like a knowing of things. You've got Uranus and Neptune in your 8th house, which is another water house. So I think learning to trust your intuition more will be very helpful. One of the reasons you might not may be your moon in Gemini, because Gemini is an air sign. It wants to intellectualize feelings with the moon in Gemini. There's this desire to take in so much information. and you may find yourself like you get this inner knowing, but then you start to question it. Would you say that's what happens with yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it would be really helpful for you to really work on connecting into that. And the North Node in Taurus is going through your 12th house right now. So it's really interesting because the 12th house can be house of endings as well. So and when the North Node is in going through your house, the North Node can bring some gains. So yeah, I think this can give you some gains about connecting in more with your intuition and things like that. When the North Node comes to, it's not going to happen for a while, to your Mercury and your Sun. You may have some unexpected gains. You can bring in new allies. New opportunities will open up for you. I also think of the 12th house as the house of mental health and the 6th house as the house of daily life and like physical health. So you may be able to release some things from the 6th house, which also could be like that second guessing, things about anxiety. You may ruminate on thoughts or have a lot of intensity with Pluto here. Maybe start releasing some of that stuff. And as the North Node goes through your 12th house, learning how to trust your instincts more.
Yeah. And I also think maybe because like if I get stressed or something, like I block myself. So like I'm not able like to like listen, like to my intuition or like be clear about it, like to be like, oh yeah, it is. Like, and that's
yeah, with the North Node in the 12th house, we're all called to simplify, and do things step by step. Taurus is a practical, grounded earth sign. And this next eclipse that's going to be on April 30th is going to be at 10 Taurus. So you're having an eclipse to your sun. So things may rush into your life unexpectedly. Have you had what kind of work do you do?
right now I'm unemployed. I'm looking for a job and I'm still undecided of like what career or what to do, like career wise.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay. Let's look at where your progressed moon is. Oh, so your progressed moon is in Leo in the 4th house of the most private self, family, and foundations. So yeah, this may be a lot of internal stuff about figuring out how you want to shine in this world right now. And yeah, you're in this phase of your progressed moon, your progressed sun is in Gemini. There's this waxing energy. You may not realize exactly what you want to do until you'll be growing and evolving for another like 10 months or so until you get to a first quarter progressed moon square, where like you may start to have more insights about what you want to do and how you want to move forward. But you have Saturn at the top of your chart. Saturn can bring rewards for hard work. So if you really think about, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, but you want to like make a decision and like just start interviewing for things, you might want to just get going while Saturn is here, because it can bring some rewards. Tends to bring rewards or consequences, but some rewards for hard work, if that is, something you want to find something new. And you have Jupiter in your 10th house. You may find like have some unexpected abundance or good luck. And I'd recommend reaching out to people with the North Node in the sign of your sun. Networking may help you bring in opportunities to help you move forward.
Because I'm usually like very, like I'm not antisocial, but like I'm more like reserved. Like I try not to like, but I think like maybe this year, like I do, well, I've read, like in, astrology or something that like to be connecting with other people like more. I mean, like I'm gonna start like to be connecting with other people.
I think that's good. You have a 12th house sun, so sometimes that can lead people to like a more reserved nature and things. But yeah, I think that would be great for you to work on connecting with other people. Yes. And it's 11:11 when you said that. It's now 11:12 where I am. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
saw that
that's
too.
really called for you to do.
Yeah.
So I hope that was helpful, Karen.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Who's next?
Apologies. I seem to have lost my computer now.
Oh,
It's okay. I put it in my laptop. I have no idea where I set it down. Next up is Patty with an I. And their birthday is June 1st, 1970. One p.m. in Michigan City, Indiana.
okay. Okay, Patty, can you come off mute?
I just did. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Oh, great. Me too. Is anything in focus in your life or?
Well, I'm a little curious, kind of like the last person you spoke with how the nodes are going to play out, how they may play out in my life right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
oh, I'm sorry. Can I add one more thing?
yes.
Okay, so a year and a half ago, I was told by an astrologer that I would have a career change. I'm looking at a career change within 2 years, which will be like by the end of this year. And I'm kind of curious as if anything jumps out at you about that.
Yeah, well, you had in June last year, there was a solar eclipse in your 10th house of career. So that can indicate a change in career. Are you actively looking or actively doing stuff or no?
Well, I'm learning astrology.
Oh, great.
I have, right now I'm a truck driver, which makes it really hard to do anything else. So I'm trying to learn things that I can do that would get me off the road where I can work from home, you know, but I still want to live indoors. So I have to replace my income.
Yes, living indoors is something. Someone with a Taurus moon needs to live indoors with some comfortable blankets.
Yes, I tell people I'm addicted to indoor plumbing.
Yes. So. Yeah. Okay. Well, you have your sun in Gemini, this Taurus moon, and you're a Virgo rising. Yeah, I love this. Okay. So your moon is in Taurus. So like I was saying, like comfort, the nature of comfort is important for you. Taurus, the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus, meaning it has like a special seat at the table. There's this beautiful grounding to the emotional body. Now, one thing you do have, like the moon is this soft, mushy, emotional, our inner stuff, and you have Saturn, which is like a strong spine, like boundaries, restriction, really close to your moon. So have you found it's sometimes hard to connect in with your emotions or?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I operate out of my brain, not my heart.
Yeah, yes, yeah, this Gemini sun, like I think we're dealing with the opposite of what the universe is magical about people who come up. This is kind of like the opposite of Karen, who we just talked to. Your sun and moon are flipped, but there's the same sort of Gemini, like intellectualizing things rather than dealing it sometimes with the emotions of things. And for you, this is more about like the Saturn right next to your moon. Yeah, it's like encasing your moon. So what I would say, what's so interesting is that you said that you are interested in astrology, because the ninth house is the house of higher wisdom. It traditionally ruled astrology or any kind of people you go to for, more of a bigger philosophy of things or spiritual things. So it rules religion and things like that. And you've got this like 4 planets in the ninth house, and the North Node is going through the ninth house, bringing you gains around these topics. So like bring in, like I said with Karen, bring in new allies. This is a time of growth for you in a lot of ways. And the eclipse on April 30th will be right on your cusp of your ninth house, like really activating this. You may find things rushing into your life unexpectedly, and it's going to be really close to your moon. So when we have an eclipse on our moon, there's a lot of different ways it can express. It can be about relationships. It can be about where we live. Yeah, the moon in Taurus, Venus rules Taurus, and you have your Venus in the 12th house. So this could be about the money you make from at work. Yeah, so there could be a lot of things that this is beautiful. You have this sextile. Sextiles are opportunities between the moon and Venus and Cancer in the 10th house. So yeah, I think that like really stay present for situations that come up, people you meet. You may have a lot of unexpected opportunities, and as well extending yourself out to new people. I think it's a good way. But if you want to make a change, you've got a lot of energy to do so. Are you thinking about becoming an astrologer?
Well, I'm kind of looking, astrology is one of the things I want to do. I'm also really excited about yoga.
Oh, okay.
And I read tarot, and I'm actually taking a mediumship course, and I've got the whole Gemini scatterbrain. Ooh, let's do everything going on. So I'm trying to narrow my focus a little bit.
Yeah.
Colette Baron Reed, I heard her say one time, focus on the money maker, and I'm like, well, if I do it right, they're all money makers. So it'll be okay.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
I love Colette. Yes. So yeah, I think with this energy, like it's really important for you to figure out what you want to focus on, as well as you've got a couple of things going on that I just want to point out. Now, taking care of your health is really important when you have an eclipse to your moon. You also have Saturn getting ready to go in your 6th house. So yeah, it's a good time to really manage your energy right now.
Okay.
It's something, so I would recommend you considering, like, okay, you like yoga, you like tarot, you like astrology. Like, how can you focus on something or narrow things down without getting burnt out?
Right.
Like you can use tarot. I use tarot and astrology together. So those are really complementary. But just some thoughts.
Well, and the biggest fly in my ointment right now is I'm on a dedicated run, and I drive about 650 miles a day, 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah. So it's like, let's do everything around that.
That sounds exhausting.
I'm better at it than I was at marriage. So.
Okay.
People think this sounds hard. I think marriage sounds hard. So it's all good.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you realize this, but your progressed sun changed signs into Leo recently.
I knew my progressed moon went into Aries. So my progressed sun went into Leo. Okay.
That happens only like once every 30 years that the progressed moon changes sign. So this is huge. Have you felt like some sense of identity switch within the last year?
Oh, major, because I've gone through like spiritual awakening, and I mean, there's been a lot of changes in the last 2 years, really.
Yeah. So this is like, and Leo is this outward shining energy. So now is a great time to do stuff that draws people to you. Yeah. And you have your progressed moon in Aries. They're in like a trine right now. A disseminating
okay.
phase where you're ready to disseminate energy. Yeah. This is one of these closing phases that, yes, you're ready to start doing something new with your life.
Okay.
Definitely. I love this. Yeah, I think the only thing I would caution you is to not burn out. How can you be more receptive or yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So, and you know, how to balance it.
And using, like, with all this energy in the 11th house, this is your progressed energy, using this to, yeah, I think you'll be really good at like social media, gaining followers through that. Yeah, think about how you can utilize the social media platform to build your audience.
Right.
The 11th house is the house of the audience.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
I hope that helps.
Now, how often does the progress chart change? How much does that change?
So the progressed moon changes every it changes a degree a month.
Every month, right?
So
Okay.
it changes signs every about 30 months. So what is that, like 2.5
Okay.
years?
So if I went and printed out my progressed chart, how long would that information be accurate or useful or whatever I'm trying to say?
Well, you can just print it out and just know this changes a degree a month. So it's very easy.
Gotcha.
The other planets don't change much. And
Right.
the sun changes a degree every year. So you can print it out and then you just look at the date and you can just calculate where we are now.
Okay, so it would be accurate for more than like a week.
Oh yeah, the progressives
Okay.
don't change
Okay.
much. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all your insight.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
All right.
Good
Great.
luck with all you
Thank you.
decides to do.
Thank you. And I look forward to taking Moon Mastery with you.
Oh, good. I hope you
So,
do.
yeah, I'm definitely going to be there.
Oh, wonderful. I can't wait.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And who's next, Kate?
Next is Tracy with an I.
And the
birth date is August 20th, 1985. Birth time is 6:05 a.m. in Coldwater, Michigan.
Okay, Tracy, come off mute, you Leo.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Is this Tracy K from Instagram?
Yes.
Hi, Tracy. Great. So
Hi, how are you?
Good. So what are your what's coming up for you right now in life? Anything particular?
Well, my energy has like been so slow this past month, and I just want to see what's like going on in my chart.
That's Saturn. Yeah. Great. So you're a Leo sun, Libra moon, Leo rising, all this fiery energy. So you're probably used to having a good amount of energy. And I can see how you're probably feeling like the energy is depressed. Yeah. And so like suppressed. But just some thoughts about your Libra moon before I get to that. You have a Libra moon in the 3rd house. So emotionally, are you very focused on like your community or your siblings, or do you work in communications in some way?
Yeah, I'm pretty close with my siblings and community.
And with that moon in Libra, it's really important for you to partner with others, and emotionally fulfills you to connect with other people. And like, and sometimes maybe do you find like you get overly intellectual about things?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah, being able to, and you have a perfect square with Venus. That's interesting as well in the 12th. So like this conflict between emotionally what fulfills you or subconsciously may be in conflict with what you think you want in relationships. Yeah, interesting. And just since we've been talking so much about the North Node, you're going to be having a nodal return.
Yep.
The North Node is in your 10th house. It's going to be an eclipse right near your North Node. So again, like new opportunities potentially in the work you do, or just you out, if you don't work, you out, your status, your reputation, some new allies, things like that can be coming in. And let me just do the bi wheel first so you can see, because you asked about your energy. So you've got Saturn in your 6th house. It's almost out, but it is an exact opposition to your Mars. So your Mars is how you take action, and Saturn is restriction. Mars is your energy, that primal force, that energy. Saturn is like dampening that. And Saturn is across from your ascendant right now. And your ascendant is your vitality. So this can really speak about this dampening of your vitality. I would think it would lessen up within the next either a couple of weeks or months, as Saturn moves into your 7th house. I think as it moves away, it may take 5 degrees to move away from your ascendant. You should start feeling some energy coming back, but it's going to be at some point opposing your sun, which is also about vitality. So yeah, you just may feel like you have to manage your energy while Saturn is in the sign of Leo, and figure out how you can, just be aware of it, and how can you work around it? What tools can help you? Do you exercise regularly?
No, I don't.
It may be counterintuitive, but you've got a lot of fire in your chart. But if you have a lot of fire, if like burning energy can help you have more energy. So like even going for walks, or, figuring out something you can do to like just, you may find it may not be fun for a while, but if you build up a sweat at least 3 times a week, you may find yourself feeling better.
Yeah, I'll definitely try that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be really helpful for you. And let's see what else is going on. And your progressed moon is in the sign of Aquarius in your 7th house. So right now, it's been there for a long time. Relationships may be in focus. And you've got a Libra moon, so that's really normal for you. But you may feel a switch in your emotions in about 3 months. So just be aware, because in 3 months, your progressed moon will go into Pisces. So just be aware that there may be, I had this last year, and it was like a little, for me, it was a little, like all that water energy made me a little feeling a little more unmoored. So it was important for me to like figure out how to get more grounding. It just took about a month or 2 to get used to it. So just keep that in mind, that you may like have some change in your emotions or your feelings in 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And have you changed jobs or anything recently? What kind of work do you do?
I'm a stay-at-home mom right now.
Okay. So you're at home. And is that what you just plan to stay at home?
Yeah, for a little while COVID's going on. So I'm staying home with my kids.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, great. Well, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Uranus in your 10th house. Maybe consider getting even more involved in your local community, because there can be gains coming into you for your status and your reputation around with the North Node in your 10th house.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It could be an exciting time when when Uranus gets to your North Node, and eclipse season things may rush in unexpectedly.
Oh, okay.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, when the eclipses are near our angles and your midheaven, where you meet the world, there can be some things that come in. But Jupiter bringing abundance is in your 8th house. That'll be interesting to see. The 8th house of other people's money, deep psychological processes, things like that. Okay, Tracy. Well, I hope that was helpful.
It was. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Do you have time for a couple more, Kate?
Absolutely.
Okay. Who's next?
Next, we have Gabrielle. No E at the end. Birthday is April 3rd, 1991. Birth time is 10:16 p.m. And birthplace is Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay. Did I spell Bangkok right? Or I'll find
There's
it.
a G after the N.
Oh, bang. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh. Okay. Okay, Gabrielle, can you come off mute?
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm actually a little bit nervous. I don't know why. Maybe
Oh,
I don't want to hear what you have to tell me.
how funny. Is anything in focus now?
Like many others, I'm facing a career change right now. I actually have been preparing for it for about 2 years. I just graduated school about 6 months ago, and I'm preparing to take my licensing exam in a few months. And honestly, these past couple of months, I've had some downtime to like really study and prepare. And I think I've just been like arrested in fear of failing. I have it all set up for me. It's all ready to go. And I've just been so like terrified to really like put the effort into it and study and commit to it. And I just really feel stuck and stagnant in like not just that, in a lot of different ways right now. Coming into that, I'm supposed to take my exam in the beginning of April, which is also the time that I will be turning 31, right around that same time of life. So I'm wondering what the next couple of months, I don't know. I just really feel stuck.
Yeah. Well, okay. So your license, do you want to ask me what you need to know about the licensing exam? I can pull a horary chart. I have to email to you later.
I mean, whatever insight you have available is great.
Okay. So I'm going to just pull another chart, and I'll what you need to know about the licensing exam. What is the field?
Physical therapy.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I am actually really excited about it. I've been planning and preparing for this for at least 6 years now, like getting ready to get to this point, and all this preparation and stuff. Now I'm coming up to the point where it really matters, and I'm just like, it's like I can't move forward. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look at that later and give you any thoughts on that. Like just some food for thought for you to think about. But the first
Yeah.
thing that jumps out at me when I look at your chart is you have a grand trine in fire. I mean, it's a little wide with the sun, but you have your moon and Sagittarius in an easy relationship with Jupiter and Leo. And this is probably part of the problem. This Jupiter and Leo, this fear of failure, this fear of what are people going to think of me if after all this work I put into this, I fail. Yeah. So I can really see that. And then you're an Aries sun. So this grand fire trine. So what can happen when we have this kind of energy with a grand trine? We can get stuck in loops. Do you ever feel like that? Or
I'm coming to terms with that in some relationships right now, that I'm kind of stuck in some maybe unhealthy cycles with people.
Yeah. And let me see, do you have?
Interestingly, today I celebrate the 12th year of being a mother. It's my child's birthday today. So.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, I think one thing that, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I definitely view it as a celebration for both of us, not just my child, because it was something for me too. I became a mom that day.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, you have your moon and a trine and a sextile to Saturn. So I think one of the things you can really do to help with what you're talking about with that fire trine, fire can create boundaries. So how can you create healthy boundaries and maybe put in some limitations on the people that you feel, healthy limitations about what you will tolerate may help you with that. And it's really important with that fire trine for you to move your energy. Do you exercise?
Interestingly, I used to quite a bit the past couple of months. I think especially with COVID and just the change in lifestyle that came with everything, I have not exercised as much. And I really kind of feel like sluggish in my body and not as healthy as I could be or should be or have been.
Yeah, I think it will really help you to burn off some of that energy, because when you have all this fire and you're not moving it, it can turn internal, and like you're saying, like it can just make you feel. I have an Aries moon, and I find if I'm not exercising, I can really be tired. It's counterintuitive, but moving that energy is really helpful for you to get your chi going, like to get your, especially with all that fire. But another thing I see in here is you've got this, so Jupiter and Leo, like wanting praise and wanting to shine, is opposite Saturn and Aquarius. So fearing the judgment of the group. So a lot of this is really internal. I wanted you to really focus in on the work you've done. You've got this Aries sun. I would imagine that you're like this initiating energy, that you've really put a lot of energy into like learning what you needed to learn in order to prepare to pass this exam. Your moon in Sagittarius, it really emotionally fulfills you to get more knowledge or get wisdom about things, know about how I bet you are really good at explaining to people, your clients or what have you, how all these systems of the body work together in order to help them heal from their injuries or whatever. Is that something you feel you have a natural talent with doing?
You really hit the nail on the head right there, Miss Celeste, because 100% that's really what drew me into the field was just through my experience. I came to find that like connecting with people and educating them in something that really was profound to them, what is more personal than your body, relating to them in that way really was what set me on this path. And I love the opportunity that I get to have with people in helping to heal them in a way that, is not related to big pharma and is something that is tangible to people. I absolutely love what I have to do. And so the fact that I'm just like so scared and stuck and like not optimistic, like not trusting myself, about it right now. Like I don't get it. I'm like looking at myself in the mirror, like, come on, girl, like what's going on? But yeah, I absolutely, you're right about that skill that people say I have.
Yeah, what's going on in the sky, as well as this year kind of started off slowly because Venus was retrograde. Like Venus was really a time for us to reassess our values, slow down. Then Mercury was retrograde. The retrogrades are for reflecting and looking back. And so now all the planets are direct. And the sun just moved past Saturn, which is the boundaries and restriction. So you may find this energy, it may have just been a time bound thing where you may find you start like moving forward and getting more energy to and more optimism as things move on. Let me look at 3. But I really, with the North Node in Taurus, want you to really reflect on self-esteem and values and how can you more tap into confidence and how the work you've put into and what you've learned and the knowledge you've gained versus being worried about that fear of failure from, what other people are going to think and things like that. Yeah. Oh, wow. And you have your progressed sun in the sign of Taurus, but it's in the 6th house. And the 6th house, and this can be like, really, do you struggle with some anxiety at all?
I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
I come to find that apparently the answer is no. So yes, I do.
Yeah, no, not everybody does. Some people aren't self-reflective at all. Oh, and I talked about, you're in this disseminating phase, yes, where your progressed moon is in Capricorn. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn brings up all these fears, and it's a time where you're going to be working hard in order to figure out how you're going to make your money to move forward. But your progressed moon is on Neptune. So there can be feelings of disillusionment or loss or unease or exactly what you're describing. This is temporary. In about 2 months, you probably will feel some relief with this, what you were going through, which will be around the time when you're going to be taking your test. Yeah. And let's see, where is the North Node in your 6th house. So gains in like daily life, the work you do to make money. And I think anything else I want to say about this? Yeah, I think a lot of this is internal, and an issue about your confidence and just how can you work on that. Do you have any tarot cards or?
I do. I haven't really used them very much. That's not something that I have gotten familiar with, but I have a couple of decks, yes.
Yeah, just pulling a card every day. What do I need to know for my highest good? I think that could help you. And just taking a few minutes to reflect or journal on that. I think working with the moon, if you want to take Moon Master, I think it could be really great to tap into that Sagittarius moon because, how can you tap into that optimism of Sagittarius, that intuition and instinct and trust? You've done the work. How can you trust that abundance is going to be coming to you from all the hard work you've done? And worst case scenario, even if you did fail the test, first at once we don't succeed, we do it again. So hopefully that helps you get some perspective on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Ready for your next one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure this person's first name. Let me make sure they're still in the chat. Gabriel, was your name host for a second? Did you share yours?
Oh, thank you for the nice comments, people, Dina and Victoria, about my hot takes.
Whoever just wrote in the chat, you're next, but we don't know your first name. You're listed as host. So,
well, why don't you just come off mute, host? Are you there?
Okay, Gabriel
yes.
is their first name.
Yeah, my name is Gabriel.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You have a nice voice.
Oh, thank you.
What's your birthday?
Oh, okay. It's November 15th, 1994. Sorry.
That's okay.
And 4:50 p.m. in Queens, New York.
Okay. Let's see. Gabriel. Wow, Gabriel. You've got a lot of Scorpio energy.
I know.
Wow. And so, like, is anything pressing for you right now? But that Taurus rising, that's that nice voice. Taurus rules the throat. Are you an actor?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm a teacher.
Ah, perfect for having a great voice. Is anything pressing for you right now?
Well, I know. Okay, so I'm a Taurus rising and a Scorpio sun, and I know that the eclipses, the next few, will be in Taurus and eclipse. So I feel like my world is gonna get rocked. And so it's funny because with my job, my contract is coming to an end in June, and I've already applied to a few other jobs. And because I'm not going to be with the same school, I already know that there's going to be a shift in that type of work. I'll still be teaching, but it'll be at a different school. I mean, so I guess that's really my biggest concern, kind of just saying, like, is there going to be a move with my new job or not? Because I have applied to like some different places outside of where I am now.
Okay. Is there going to be will I change jobs? Is that the question?
Yeah, I guess will I change jobs is the question, which I kind of know the answer to, but yeah.
And what is your email? Because there are two Gabriels. So.
Okay, so my email is Gabriel, and then my last name, which is Guzman, Guzman.
Okay, I'll find it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me do this as well. Gabriel. Will I change jobs? So do you want to change jobs, or you feel like it's something that
it's definitely coming. I guess I'm just curious about if there's going to be like a shift in my position. Like, is there going to be more responsibility, that type of.
Okay. Well, okay. So what shift in responsibilities? Okay, I'll look at that later. Okay. And then let me see. Okay, and then let me change this and I'll email you. Okay. I need to change this to Placidus. Okay. So, yeah, you have the Scorpio sun and this Aries moon, and yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in Scorpio. So you have like this concentration of Scorpio energy, and the South Node is going through Scorpio. Plus you have your North Node in Scorpio. So you have several things that are happening right now that speak to, potentially, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a job change. You've got the North Node in, excuse me, not the North Node, Saturn in your 10th house. So Saturn can bring rewards, or it can bring hard work, or it can bring consequences, and it's in the house of career. So it's quite likely there could be some kind of shift, but I'll look at the chart. It's interesting that you have your Chiron in the 5th house, and Chiron, and I'll talk a little bit about this at the next webinar. Chiron, there are these astrologers called the Magi astrologers who feel like Chiron's also about the career and the 5th house of children. So this is perfect for a school teacher, although you can do other things with this. Are you creative?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, you may, like, it's important for you, I think, to nurture your creativity with Chiron in the 5th house. And you have it in this beautiful grand trine in Earth. So you have the ability to be an ultimate manifester. Do you feel like in your life you've been able to manifest what you desired?
Definitely. I think that where I am now, yeah.
Yeah, so just have faith, whatever happens with this job, you have this ultimate manifestor energy. And you've got this Taurus rising, which with all the Scorpio energy, this Taurus rising, so you appear to be very calm, grounded, and stable maybe to people, and practical, and maybe a little lighthearted, but you're an intense person.
I am.
Do you feel, yeah, you feel very deeply, and yeah, there's this like healing nature to you. With all this 6th house energy, there can be like, do you struggle with obsession or anxiety, or?
I do, and I struggle with, like, I mean, and I say this very lightly, but like I'm a very like paranoid person.
That paranoia can be this Scorpio. Yeah. So this is a really good time for you to really work on how can you let go of some of that. And yeah, let go of some of that obsessive nature. How can you heal that? And maybe even a time where you think you maybe want to do, I don't know if you've ever done therapy, you might even want to consider it.
I'm in it.
Oh, okay, good. Because you're going to have the South Node. And like I said, the South Node can be a cosmic vacuum cleaner where, things can be released out of the 6th house is like the work we do, like just kind of the daily tasks, how we make our money. There can be some releasing out of these areas, or people and situations when we have this nodal opposition will come into your life as a mirror. So look around for people who you admire that seem to be able to roll with the changes of life easier than you find yourself doing with that all that Scorpio energy. Because yeah, it can really lead to just assuming the worst, or like you said, the paranoia or things like that. So in your life though, with this big concentration, you will find that like things come rushing in at certain points in your life. Have you felt that?
Yeah, I think I felt that the last week definitely as well. Like I have a lot coming up. Yeah, so totally.
Yeah, you've got a lot of things coming, like rushing in at a time that could be, of a lot of different nature of things that, and you're going to have your Saturn return next year at some point. So you're building up to that Saturn return where it's like this bridge it's this maturity bridge. So from, not that you're a child in any way at 20, 28 or whatever you are, but you're 30, right?
I'm 27.
Oh, 27. I'm sorry. It was the last person. Yeah. Saturn return happens about 29. So yeah, you're going over this bridge where you're going to take on more maturity and more responsibilities, and Saturn's moving through your 10th house. I wouldn't be surprised if like it's involved with your Saturn return is involved with some kind of promotion and like you moving up in your job. like with all that Scorpio energy, you may desire more power.
Yeah, I've been kind of at the same level for the past 4 years, and even though I'm okay with it, I would like to move up in some way.
Yeah, I can see you like starting to move up. Your Saturn return may be about promotion. What's so interesting right now, you're having a progressed moon. Look at this. Your moon is at 27 Aries. The moon in the sky is at 28 Aries, but it was at 27 when we started. And your progressed moon is at 27. So there's all this nature of endings in the 12th house with this progressed moon in 27. Also thinking about, I want you to think about how can you release some self-undoing with that, those feelings of obsession and paranoia and things like that.
Okay.
How can you get more grounded? How can you like enjoy more simple things? And how can you lean into Taurus energy with the North Node in Taurus a little more if you can?
Okay.
Yeah, although you have your South Node there, but I want you to still think about that, because in 3 months, your progressed moon is going to go into Taurus, and that may help you as well get some more grounding and stability. But part of having a North Node in Scorpio is knowing that you're meant to change and evolve. And especially like if things fall apart or things like having that ability to rise like the phoenix from the ashes and just move forward. So maybe you can make a mantra about no matter what happens, I will rise again, or however you want to say it, to help you kind of release some of that. I think it's a lot of it is internal, the things you'll struggle with in life. So with just such a concentration, but having the sun near your North Node, people will come into your life potentially to help pull you on your path.
Okay.
Yeah. So think about how can you manage this desire for power to do it in a healthy way. And really watch out for self-undoing or trying to control others, and any kind of manipulation is something that should be avoided, especially while the South Node is in your sign, because you could get caught. Yes, you could. Okay. Besides the fact you shouldn't be doing that stuff. Yeah. So just think about that. Hopefully that gives you some insight.
Okay. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, we're almost to 12 o'clock, so we should probably get stopped right now. Yeah. Okay. So sorry if I missed anyone who wanted one. You can come to another one of these. Uh-oh, where did my thing go? Okay. But stop this. But yes, this has been such a pleasure. If anyone has any last questions, you can come off mute, but sign up for Moon Mastery. We could do this every week where we were talking about the astrology and then looking at it in action and working to find ourselves more balance and grounding. And for Gabrielle, you might want to watch my on Instagram. I did with Onario, is Onareo is his handle at Onario. We did a talk called Let's Talk About It on his channel about the South Node in Scorpio, the North Node in Taurus. You may want to watch that and think about some of the concepts. But yeah, thanks for coming and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Kate. And yeah, I'll read all the comments at the end. Okay, have a beautiful day.